welcome to another Mickey's Roundtable Adventure where we explore everything Disney, one themed adventure at a time. For this episode, I'm going to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the Walter E. Disney locomotive and the Roger E. Broggie locomotive of the Walt Disney World Railroad. You're not going to want to miss this exciting Mickey's Roundtable Adventure. As I'm recording my video here today, it is April 22nd, 2025. Last month I headed up to Winter Garden, Florida, just a little ways north of Walt Disney World, for the Central Florida Railroad Museum. It's a neat little museum, but they had a special presentation going on about the history of the Walt Disney World Railroad, and it was there that I was reminded that, yep, this is the year that the Walter E. Disney locomotive and the Roger E. Broggie locomotive are going to be having their 100th anniversary, which will be next month, just a couple weeks from now as I'm recording this. We know that these locomotives were built at the same time at the Baldwin Locomotive Works in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, because of their boiler plates. On the front of the boiler is a little plaque, and it's got a number, unique number to the locomotive and the year and month that it was built. The Walter E. Disney is 58444, and the Roger E. Broggie is 58445. Yeah, my math checks out here. So we know that those two locomotives were built next to each other at that same factory. They went on to serve on a railroad in the Yucatan Peninsula down in Mexico. Then in the mid-1960s, mid to late 1960s, Roger Broggie, the guy Roger Broggie, who the locomotive is named after, he went down with some other Disney folks, and they purchased those locomotives as well as three others. So they had 5 total. They went on to become the Roger Broggie, the Walter E. Disney, the Roy O. Disney, and the Lily Bell, named for Walt's wife Lillian. So each train has its own unique paint scheme. This model, this toy train that I've got here, this represents the Walter E. Disney. The Walter E. Disney, he's red, and he tows red cars. The Lily Bell locomotive, boiler, green cab, green tender, green cars, green all along. The Roger E. Broggie has a green boiler with a red cab and green tender. The Roy O. Disney is switched, so it's a red boiler, green cab, and red tender. Each set of train cars, they are not 100 years old, but each set of train cars has a unique color scheme as well. The Walter E. Disney, red cars, Lily Bell, green cars. The Roger Broggie has a yellow set of cars, and the Roy O. Disney, he's got a blue set of cars. For quite a while now, I wanted to get a hat made, this hat in particular, with the Walt Disney World Railroad logo, just the WDW interlocking letters. And but I didn't want anything extra, anything fancy, but I thought, let me get one hat for every locomotive. So I'll get 4 hats total, and what I'll do is I'll make the hat the color based on the cars that those locomotives tow. So for the Walter E. Disney here, that's a red cap for the red train and the red cars. And after I went to the presentation up there at the Train Museum in Winter Garden and realizing, oh, the anniversary is coming up here, let me get a hat for the Roger Broggie, and then I plan on doing the other 2 as well down the road. But for right now, I just got the one, and then this literally came in the mail just a little bit ago before I started the video. And I thought, well, do I want to do the video today? Because really it's another couple weeks before the actual anniversary month. And I was looking at my calendar, and April 22nd, I used to work at the Walt Disney World Railroad. 2 years ago on this day, I completed my training and my assessment as an engineer at the Walt Disney World Railroad. So I thought, yeah, this is a good day to go do this video, and we'll open this up here. And yeah, it'll be my anniversary present to myself. I wasn't planning on it showing up here on the anniversary. My time at the Walt Disney World Railroad was fairly brief, but I enjoyed it. It was cool. It was very cool to drive a steam locomotive and be part of that operation for the short time that I was there. I moved on to other things for various reasons, but anyway, today's the anniversary, and here's my anniversary present. Actually, I do have scissors here. I'm going to use the scissors, and we're going to open this up. So, one concern here, and so on the hat, the WDW interlocking letters, each letter is a different color. So you got red, green, blue, that matches each set of cars, and then the outline is in yellow, which matches the Roger Broggie cars. So I used the exact same logo because it turned out very well on here. But with the yellow outline on a yellow hat, I'm not sure how that's going to work, but hopefully the other letters pop enough that it will work. And so anyway, let's open this up and see how the yellow hat looks. And then when I'm out at the parks, depending on which train I'm riding on, I can wear the appropriate colored hat for the cars. Ooh, there it is, and it's all yellowy goodness. Oh, there we go. All right. So there's the red hat and the yellow hat, and we'll try and get maybe put in a close-up here, see how that works. I think that looks pretty good. The yellow is slightly different. Yeah, that's good. So yeah, so now I'll just in the coming months, coming year or sometime, I'll get a green. I'll probably do the green one next for the Lily Bell. She's still on property. The Roy O. Disney, he's up in Strasburg, Pennsylvania, being refurbished, and the same refurbishment that the Roger Broggie just went over. So you want to hear the irony of the whole situation here. So I worked at the Walt Disney World Railroad a fairly short period of time. The Roger Broggie, he was off being refurbished. So I got to drive the Roy O. Disney and the Lily Bell and the Walter E. Disney. I never got to drive the Roger E. Broggie, but my name is Roger. Anyway, that I think is kind of fun. Anyway, you know what I'm going to do here? For the rest of the video, we're going to, I'm going to show you what the idea is, where the hat, when I'm riding the different locomotives. Let's head over to the park and I'll ride the train. We'll do a lap, and I'll bring both hats. Hopefully both locomotives are out today. It seems they've only been running 2 at a time since they reopened. I think they only had 3 out at the same time during park hours once when the Roger Broggie first came back out, just to test them out on the tracks during the day. But otherwise, it's only been 2 at a time, and but we'll hopefully they'll be both out, and if not, one or the other should be out, although it could be just Lily Bell. I don't know, let's go find out. All right, we'll give this a try. We are at Magic Kingdom. Just for starters, I generally don't do this format, talking to the camera like this in the park, because it does get noisy and everything, and most bloggers do this, but I think you have to be very, very good to actually pull it off. We'll see how I do today. I did do at least one video where I had some talking pieces, but anyway, I am at the train station here, and we'll go do a lap. The Roger Broggie, he's out on the tracks today. He was pulling the Lily Bell car, so it was the Roger locomotive pulling the green train cars. Hopefully Walter is out on the track. Recently he's been pulling Roger's cars, so maybe I'll get a twofer. I'll be able to have the red train and the yellow cars, and I won't know what hat to wear, but we'll figure it out. Before we head on up to the train station, it should be here in a few minutes. Let's walk through the train station here, and then I'll head on up and we'll do a lap. All right. So I'm down on the bottom half of the train station, and they've been doing a bunch of construction, although there's no construction down here. This is really cool. If you get a chance to check this out, we'll look over my shoulder. There's all kinds of artwork, and then they've got a description about each locomotive. So that's the Roger E. Broggie locomotive information, and then the hat there. So this is kind of cool, but we'll go upstairs. All right. So apparently, I've heard this was the very last thing that Walt Disney signed off on. Don't know if that's true or not, but yeah, so there's construction walls up here, and back here there's a little ticket window. They used to have a sign that said Walt Disney World Railroad Main Street Station, something like that. It's been gone since they came back after Tron opened. Hopefully they'll put that back. But it doesn't make any sense that the train was down for 4 years, and they had this whole building was covered in scaffolding and everything, and they're still doing work on it. It should have been all like brand new when they came back. Anyway, we'll head on. I love this room. There used to be like all kinds of seats and benches and stuff in here, which I absolutely love, but not at the moment. Just a couple of benches, and yeah. So I believe, hopefully, they are running 2 trains today, and Walter will be coming in here. But if there's 2 trains running, it's only about 7 minutes or so between trains. If it's only 1 train, then it's a good 20 minutes before they get around, because they have to do the whole lap, which is, of course, how long the train lap is. If there's 3 trains, which I have not been around when they were doing a 3-train operation, it's only like just a few minutes between each train. So anyway, hopefully the next train will be here momentarily. So we'll hang out here. Hopefully the train comes here momentarily and I don't have to talk very long. No, you don't have to be in a specific line, which kind of throws people sometimes, because it's Disney World and everything's a line, right? So yeah, of course they're doing pretty good here, but they load from the gate down at the very end, so you go all the way down or wherever they happen to tell you, and train will come in. Now, all the bells and whistles and everything are specific signals for things. So if the train pulls in and they're not ringing the bell, they're not taking guests. But if they're ringing the bell, then they will take the guests. So yeah, as I was coming up the stairs there was somebody carrying a stroller up the stairs, which is fine. You can bring strollers onto the train. They have to be folded up, so you can't leave your kids sleeping in it or whatnot. But unless it's got a tag that says that it's being used as a wheelchair, and then down on the other end down here, on each station here at the Walt Disney World Railroad, there is a platform for wheelchairs, strollers that are being used as a wheelchair, or electric wheelchairs, the electric scooters and whatnot, cannot come on. I believe they can at Disneyland, I've been told that, but I don't know as much about that operation as I do this one. So yeah, so if you do have a scooter, you have to park and then transfer into the train. You can transfer into a courtesy wheelchair and go on board that. But if get on at Main Street and the train gets stuck over at Fantasyland for weather or whatever reason, you have to make your way back to Main Street to get your scooter again. Oh, there I hear the train, so it's going to be coming in here. We'll see. Hopefully, I don't think it's been a full 20 minutes since the Roger left the station here, so it should be hopefully Lily or hopefully Walter. We'll see here. Oh no, maybe it has been 20 minutes. That looks like Roger there. So I'll switch hats here, but yeah. Oh no, I was wrong. It is Walter. So there's people that I know are driving the train. That's good. Oh, and oh yeah, so they're so you see the cars are yellow. Those are Roger's cars to go with my yellow hat here. So we'll wear one hat half away, and then we'll wear the other hat the other half. But all right, we'll get on the train here in a second. But it is so noisy when you do this. But anyway, let's hop on the train. All right, so I'm on the train and picked a row of myself in the back. I might have to move over if somebody needs a seat, so you don't want to take up a whole row to yourself. That's just rude. Oh, here's some folks. I'm going to move down.
Thanks, sir.
You're welcome. He has a snazzy mustache, so I have to be nice to him. Anyway, so the train will be in the station maybe about 2.5 minutes. When you're on the train and you hear the whistle blow, when they pull in, they'll blow a single whistle. That means they stop, and then you'll hear from the conductor, all clear. You can get off the train until you hear all clear. Stay put. Otherwise, it's very dangerous and you'll get yelled at. So they just blew another whistle. So every minute, if I remember correctly, they'll blow a whistle. That signals to the conductors how much time they have. And then when you hear 2 whistles, that means they're ready to go. And then the conductors, they'll close the gates and they'll shut the gate on you. If you're not on the train, you're not on the train, and because there's another train coming again. in about 7 minutes or so. But so there was the 2 whistles, so they're going to close the gates over here, and then once they guarantee that everybody's seated and on board, and strollers can come on the train, but they have to be folded up. They have to be on the inside so they don't fall out. Kids that are under 7 have to be on the inside. All kinds of rules. So they make sure all that's nice and safe and secure. Ooh, somebody's doing something back here. Right there. They're checking out things. So once they're clear, then they'll go and they'll buzz the engineers up in the front from the back, and then you'll hear 2 whistles again, and then we'll be underway. And scenic tour around the Magic Kingdom. You don't see much of the park from the train, which is kind of sad. You don't see the train much from within the park either, which the train looks so cool when it's chugging along. But hang on, well, do I see? How do people do this when you're blogging? They just talk and talk and talk and talk. We're gonna cut here, and then once we get going here, we'll. Oh, never mind. There it goes. That they just buzzed them, and now they're blowing the whistle. And oh, the conductors are yelling at people to sit down. Ha. So yeah, so they somebody must have been trying to get off the train while it started to move, and they stopped the train here. So we'll do that whole thing again. We'll probably hear another double whistle again. But anyway, there it goes again. No, it is cool that the train whistles all have specific meaning, so that means we're going to go. I wish that in the train, in front of the seats here, if you ever ride the Kilimanjaro safaris in Animal Kingdom, they've got a thing up on the ceiling of the trucks for our animal spotting guide. I wish they had something like that here, but only how to talk train. 2 whistles means this. The train crossing whistle should be the next one we hear. It's long, long, short, long, if I remember correctly. There's 2 3-grade crossings. The first one we're coming up to here will be for the parade. After the parade's done, they have to get backstage, and they'll cross up here in Adventureland. And you can kind of see the train from over here. There's the monorail station. And you can get some shots from there, kind of. But, see, there was a time. That's a really long line. So in train talk, that's here comes the train. And that's the same on any like main line when if you're driving in your car and you hear that, look out, because there's going to be a train coming on the crossing. But then they've got block signals. So only one train can operate within a block at any given time. Oh, I'm going to switch the camera on. Hang on. How do I do this? I don't think I can. Alright, so there's the crossing right there. That's the Adventureland crossing. Now, I wish you could see the Jungle Cruise from here. The Jungle Cruise is right over there. And then here. So right here, so there's the Adventureland bridge. There's that block signal. It's ugly camouflage netting. Why don't they make it look like a cool bamboo, like bridge on the River Kwai kind of thing? That'd be cool. So if the block signal is green, the train can go through. They can operate on a amber over red. That means the next block signal is open, but the one after it is occupied. But they can only do that if there's a 3-train operation. There's 3 stations, so they can operate 3 trains. But with only 2 trains, as they've got today, they can not do that. Oh, look at that. So there's the... so that's where the parade starts. We're in Frontierland now. So that was the Main Street Philharmonic, the marching band, and then we're going to go into the tunnel here. So this is where Splash Mountain used to be. And can you see here? You can kind of see in there. That's now the Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
That train comes to a full and complete stop. I'll then give you the 2 routes, 2 words of all clear when it's safe for you to disembark. But at this time, please do not try to exit that train until you hear the 2 words of all clear from me.
So yeah, so she just told folks to stay seated.
Folks, as Tiana says, we're almost there. we are still moving and grooving. Remain seated.
There we go. So now that the engineer has signaled to them with a single whistle, we've stopped. They're not going anywhere. Then they'll say all clear. And yeah, so that's Tiana's Bio Adventure key down there, which is, I won't talk about it on this video, but Splash Mountain was so much better. So much better. But yeah, so we'll be in the Frontierland station here for a couple of minutes before we head on out. The only time, so we passed the 2 crossings back here. During parade time, if there's parade coming up, the train has to wait for the parade to cross. They'll actually lock those crossing guards and turn the block signals so they are red. Train cannot go through. And here at the Walt Disney World Railroad, I don't think it's the case out at Disneyland, but here at the Walt Disney World Railroad, they've got an automatic braking system so that if a locomotive goes through a red light, the brakes will automatically pop on and the train will come to a stop. So, so that's good for safety. But so they'll lock those signals so that the parade can come by. And once the parade is done or almost done, they can leave Main Street and then head on through. And so there will be a little bit of a hold during those parade times. Yikes, that is hard to hold that for that long. But we'll keep talking here. So yeah, so folks are getting on the train. And yeah, so there was a single whistle. I wish, so down here, down over here, they've got there's a photo spot and they've got some like luggage and baggage and stuff set up. And up behind it, there's trees, there's a retaining wall and trees and stuff, and Big Thunder Mountain in the background. You could see the train locomotive from down there if there weren't all those trees. I don't know why they don't park a stagecoach there, like they've got one out at Disneyland. You could put something like that there and clear out those trees, and the Big Thunder would be in the background with the locomotive right there. There's other Big Thunder Mountain stuff back here that they probably don't want people to see, but yeah, because they do. So we can't see anything from the train here because they do block it off pretty well. The Thunder Mountain Railroad maintenance facility is on the other side of the Walt Disney World Railroad train tracks. So if they want to take a new train, Thunder Mountain train, onto the tracks or off the tracks, they have to coordinate with the Walt Disney World Railroad. Train has to stop and they'll take that car across the train tracks. Now Thunder is down at the moment. They are doing a refurbishment, so they won't be open until I believe sometime next year, 2026, if I remember correctly. They're replacing all the track and hopefully they'll add some new effects. There's a cool effect, dynamite and fuses going off in the Disneyland variation version of that attraction. Hopefully they do that here because that would be very cool. But so a little bit of time before that reopens, and then from there, well, we'll see it when we get over there. But best part of the train trip for me personally, my favorite part. But look at that. So actually, can you see over there? So right up there. So there's a crane, and they're rebuilding their maintenance facility for Big Thunder Mountain. I guess it's going to be 2 stories, huh? Looks like it. But so you can see that from here. And then there's a little crane, but then there's a ginormous, like 300 foot tall, however tall it is, crane. And yeah, you can see that from like miles and miles away. But so the distance between each stop is about the same. It's about 5 minutes. I timed it way back when. And so yeah. They can, so if they are running 3 trains, they'll just go by on the signal light. And based on the time, let's see if we can see there. You can kind of see, so this is where, right there, that's where the Big Thunder Mountain Railroad trains will cross the track. And then over here is the Big Thunder Mountain. You can see there's all kinds of scaffolding and stuff in there. And on this side, oh boy, this is that crane. I don't think you can see it. It goes way up there. And I don't know what time it is. I don't have my watch. If the timing works out here, on the back stretch, the train will line up with the riverboat and they'll play whistle tag. They'll do long long, short, I see you. And anyway, then the boat will come back. This bridge is cool. So this used to be a highway bridge, and it got repurposed as a railroad bridge. It's actually a swing bridge. So that can open up, and the waterway there connects out to Seven Seas Lagoon for getting the riverboat in and out of the track. And look at how much land is back here. Wow, there's so much land back here, empty and unused. And you'd think you could build something there instead of over there in the rivers of America. Seems like it would make sense. So what will they do with the train once the river is closed and they're doing all their construction over here? They haven't announced anything yet. I've heard things, but I'm not at liberty to say on here. But they've got plans, schemes, if you will. But yeah, it's neat because you're in the wilderness back here. But I wish you could see more of the park and more stuff. So there's the Indian Village. And that's the train. The steamboat will go back behind there, and then there's more Indian Village on the other side. And so yeah, back here is the backside of Haunted Mansion, and It's a Small World. So this waterway here, this goes out. This connects into Bay Lake. Bay Lake connects to Seven Seas Lagoon. Seven Seas Lagoon connects into the rivers of America. It's all the water is connected. But then over here, this is right behind Fantasyland, and they've got their Fantasyland spiel going. Sometimes you can see backstage stuff here. I don't like that. You should never see backstage stuff. But then there's a few animatronics and stuff back here. So I was driving the train once, this stretch right through here, and I had to stop the train because there was a deer going by. Yeah, there's all kinds of critters back here. If you heard about the bear incident, that was apparently back here. They spotted the bear here. Some people said it was on Tom Sawyer Island. It was not on Tom Sawyer Island.
Alright, folks, just a reminder to keep all hands on
there's some critters.
inside those red bars at all times. That also includes your little ones on your lap. Thank you.
I wonder if she was talking to me. So that's the whistle for a spur line. So there is one spur line that goes off back to the roundhouse. It's not really a roundhouse because it's not round, but it's where they house all the locomotives. So they've got a special whistle for that, long, short. And then, yeah, so this bridge I don't like. I don't like the bridges around here apparently. No, it would be cool if this was like an old-timey tunnel or something. But we're coming into the station here, Storybook Circus. This was originally the Mickey's Toontown Fair stop, and then they switched it over. But yeah, so back here, so that's the spur line. That goes back then to the roundhouse. And so it's the only spur line, it's the only switch track. So the train does a loop, and then that goes back to the roundhouse. And so, and once again, we're getting our spiel from the conductor. Along here, this is the best spot for watching the train from here, and just past here, right by Goofy's Barnstormer. So that was those three whistles there, and now the conductors are going to tell everybody to stay on the train because they weren't listening the first time. So we'll back up a little bit, and then once they get one single blast and the conductor tells us it's all clear, then folks will be able to get off the train. But so I didn't talk about this yet. So the train track is not level. I think there's a few spots that are level, but so coming past Big Thunder Mountain, down past that Indian Village is a downgrade, and then I think it levels off here through to the station, and then just before the station it starts rising again. So between here and all the way up to Main Street is an increase in grade. So when you're coming into the station here at Fantasyland Storybook Circus, it's uphill, so it's a little wonky when you're parking the train. And it's especially important to park the train properly here because this is where there's a water tower and there's a new maintenance facility. And yeah, I see the engineer hopping off the train. They will add water every lap, and I believe it was every lap. They'll do what's called a blowdown, but depending on what the maintenance folks tell them in the morning, they'll test the water and see how much sediment is in there. And if there's more or less sediment, they will say every lap or every other lap, do a blow down for 10 seconds or 15 seconds or whatever it happens to be. And this is the only spot that they are allowed to do that. There's kind of an offshoot off to the side that kind of redirects the steam. It is really cool. So if you're at Storybook Circus and the train pulls in, you can watch, and there's all kinds of steam and everything comes out. It's very cool. And nope, well, maybe they're adding water. Yeah, they're adding water. Yeah, the engineer's going to come over, and you can go multiple. Oh, hang on. You can go. Oh, there. Yeah, I can hear them doing the blowdown. Can we see? So you can go multiple laps without adding water. You won't run out because there's a fair amount, but then it takes all the longer to add water the next time you come around, and so you don't want to let it get too low ever, to quote my trainer. I don't think he ever actually said that, but I could see him saying that. But then also, this is while they're doing that, one engineer has to stay on the train at all times and monitor the fire. There's a computer system. It monitors the boiler and the water level and the pressure and the fire and everything, and alarms will go off if it is not where it's supposed to be. My trainer did say this. He called it the nagging mother-in-law. And so when an alarm goes off, you'd have to pay attention. You'd have to make adjustments to whatever it is. And there was a dynamic going on there. And so I said how the incline here, you need plenty of pressure when you are leaving Fantasyland to make it up that hill past behind Space Mountain and all of that up into back into Main Street, USA. So yeah, so you got to build pressure, but you can't build too much pressure, and you need to add water. And so one person monitors that, one person adds water. They'll grease some bearings. You don't necessarily do that every time. Maybe you do. I don't remember. This is why I'm not an engineer anymore. And then they will also load on or unload guests with disabilities in that front car. And every train will have at least have the front car space available for guests with disabilities. They can only fit 2 chairs and or electric wheelchairs, strollers with a tag on them at a time. And so if you're waiting and you can't transfer and train comes in and it's already occupied and they're getting off at the next station, you have to wait for the next train to come in. Kind of a limiting factor, but they will make room for you when they can, as best they can in it. I love attractions that can accommodate people as much as they can. It's not as good as the riverboat, nothing is, but it is a very good system, good attraction if you have need of a wheelchair, or if you're in a scooter, again, you can transfer to a courtesy wheelchair and wheel on, or you can step on into the train if you're able to do that, comfortable doing that. It's a pretty big step, but there's options for you. But yeah, so there was the whistle again, and so we are underway again.
Looks like we're on our way. And
the narrator said so. And now we're going to, so there's one more crossing coming up here. It's just on the other side of the Tron tunnel. So they'll blow the whistle before they even enter the tunnel. When I first started, the tunnel was brand new. We couldn't go faster than 3 miles an hour through the tunnel because they didn't know how it would affect things and whatnot. So there's that crossing whistle. But, and here's the water tower coming up. Right there. Real water, too. None of that fake stuff. And then, yeah, so then over here, great viewing spot. I think they call that Lasser Point. And then that used to be a Tron billboard till Tron opened. Now it's a Storybook Circus. But yeah, I don't know if they can go full speed through the tunnel or not. They can only go 10 miles an hour at any point during the run. If you go too fast, the alarm goes off and you get in trouble. There's windows in here, and if you're lucky, yeah, no, we're not lucky. So you'll sometimes see the Tron roller coaster launching. And then we'll pass underneath the, no, they're not there. the People Mover is up there. And so you can sometimes see the train from the People Mover. When this first opened, I wanted to get a shot of the train coming through this stretch behind Space Mountain. And I rode the People Mover I don't know how many times before I could get a shot of the train from the People Mover. But I finally got one. So from the monorail down here, so this is kind of outside, seeing outside the park. You can see the Contemporary back here, and from the monorail when it's going by, if the train's going by, you can see nice wide view shot of the train. If you're trying to get pictures or video, just see it. But yeah, so the Tomorrowland is just beyond this berm here, and they really don't want you to see the train from Tomorrowland.
Keep those feet completely inside those red bars. Thank you.
Kind of makes sense because, you know, steam trains don't really fit with Tomorrowland, but it is the future, and we still have steam trains, so they actually fit. They fit better in Tomorrowland than cars do in Frontierland. Why would anybody do something like that? I'm sorry.
We're now approaching our most charming destination, Main
We're
Street
past
USA.
Tomorrowland, and so back behind here is behind Main Street USA. It's like a parking lot, and there's facilities for backstage support networks,
We'll be heading for
Contemporary.
Frontierland.
And there's a little bridge here.
To Fantasyland.
There's an underpass here. So they can drive in back behind Main Street USA. I would turn that into a Mickey Mouse Park. You put a little gazebo in there, and you put Walt's farm, and you recreate the barn where he grew up in Marceline, maybe his birthplace in Chicago, or the house in Marceline. You do Flora's Kitchen. You do an entrance into the Carousel of Progress from back there. So you're entering from 1901 and you're exiting into Tomorrowland in the future. Train could come by, you're looking out over Walt's farm and Walt's barn and everything.
Welcome, neighbors.
Anyway, we're back at Main Street USA where we started.
Keep the legs completely inside those red bars.
I've been recording for 22 minutes and 55 seconds. And so it's around 20 minutes, a little bit more, a little bit less, depending on who's driving, depending on what happens when they're at the station. But yeah, so as soon as we get out there, we are going to exit here and head on out. So I'm going to wrap it up for this video. This is an experiment. We'll see how it goes. Hang on. Right, I'm going to sneak by you. Thank you. Oh, all right, I'm on the inside, they're on the outside, so I got to make them move. But they're being nice, so I appreciate that. All right. Oh, pardon me. And so we're gonna exit here. There's exits on both ends unless one of them's locked off or something. But if you're, oh, you know what we should do? We're gonna exit this way. I'm gonna show you something. So at the beginning of the video, I'll show you this, and then I'm gonna go. So this is the Walter E. Disney, and so I talked about the boilerplate. So if you go up here to the very front of the train, and right here is the boilerplate, and so that's got those serial numbers and everything on there. And so this is one different than the Roger. So now they are leaving, and so we'll wrap it up here as the train leaves the station. So from Walt Disney World, Magic Kingdom, this has been another Mickey's Round Table Adventure. So we'll see you real soon.